And what's happening, folks? Welcome along to another episode of 420 News. Midweek here, guys. It's Wednesday. Hope everybody's good out there. Hope you all survived the long last 2 days. Haven't seen y'all guys or seen your comments anyway, at least since Monday. Hope everybody's good out in the audience. I see many comments floating in there already as we speak. Just getting a bit of herbage grinded up here. Should be fucking well prepared at this stage, but as always, have too much going on during the day. Kids homework and all of that good fun stuff. But yes, here we are, 420 News. Happy to be here. Hey, Green Tea, hope you're well out there. See Green Tea in the audience. Myself and Green Tea should be having a lovely conversation later on this evening. Green Tea will be the next guest on Martin's World podcast. And if anybody else out there has any more suggestions as to other guests who we could get on, keep in mind I'm putting in a request there for Snoop Dogg and Justin Bieber as well. See if I can get both of them on together. But if anybody has any other suggestions there as to future guests I should get on the podcast, by all means get in touch, let me know. Sorry, zoom out my camera a little bit. Somebody's asking there about the hoodie. What's on your hoodie, Martin? Have you seen that movie, the TV show, the Tiger King? Oh, this was featured in it. Rawr. That was a gift I got a couple of years back. Now, in fairness, I have this thing about, I don't know, about 3 years or 4 years or so. Got good old wearing out of it. In fairness, it's nice material as well, nice stretchy material, and it's really good for summertime as well. It's like light, you're not too sweaty in it. But yeah, this was made famous, I suppose, or maybe infamous, depending on how you look at it, over on the Tiger King. And yeah, it's not a tiger, John. I know that much. But it was featured over there on it. One of the guys in the show was wearing it there one time. And I was watching it then, I was like, he's got my top. It's like the only time I've ever seen somebody else wearing this exact same top. And it was on Tiger King. And it wasn't even a tiger, it's a lion. Yeah, so nice one for pointing that out, Tom. Or John. Right, let's blaze on up a bowl. I see Casa out there as well. Powered up the mighty with some outdoor. Nice. There's some Portuguese outdoor, I would imagine. Yes, from the islands. Whoops. Hopefully all is well over there and you had a safe trip back anyway to the island, Casa. I'd imagine you are back over on the island. I don't even know where you were flying off to, but I'd imagine it's the island. The island. It's calling me, actually, in fairness. I'd love to be paying a visit over there. That was beautiful when I visited. It was about this time last year as well, actually, wasn't it? When I was over there in the Azores. Really enjoyed that trip over. Maybe we'll go when the weather is a bit better there later in the year again, come February, April, March, whatever. Right, where's me lighter? Where's me lighter? Oh, I know I brought her up. It's in my other pocket. There we go. Pocket of me house, got. Right, guys, little civil disobedience here to get the 420 News blazing up. Blazing on up if you got it. Little protest as we always do to get the show started. Hi, everybody. What's happening, Alan Corkery? Hi, Martin. Thanks for all you're doing for legalisation. Keep it up, bud. Nice one, Alan Corkery, there for those very kind words. Really do appreciate it when people sending nice words like that. You know, just a simple message. Keep up what you're doing, and thanks for all the hard work. Doesn't get any easier than that, guys, and I really do appreciate every little message I receive like that, in fairness. Oh, excuse me. Right, we have a few headlines to get through today. 10 in total, actually. I think there's like 5 of them, but in Ireland, 2 from Northern Ireland, one from Dubai, Portugal, and we go to Canada and America there as well for some more positive news. You could say some of the Portuguese news is positive as well. But unfortunately, we start off here in Ireland in the courts, where in Portlaoise, a man has been, he was brought to court over being caught with 158 grams of cannabis, which was valued to be in excess of €3,000 worth of cannabis based on the valuation of the courts. Solicitor Barry Fitzgerald, who was representing the Polish national he was 38-year-old. It's not actually giving his name, does it? No, it doesn't actually give his name. Interesting here. So it doesn't give the name of the defendant. It just says that he's a Polish national who was caught with 158 grams of cannabis. And he's Solicitor Barry Fitzgerald, who was representing him in the court, said that the man lived in Ireland for 7 years, had previously been working, but after losing his job, he developed an addiction to cannabis and alcohol. He said that the defendant had been homeless for a period of time, which caused his addiction issues to escalate, but he has since obtained a house through the Peter McVerry Trust. The solicitor went on to say that the defendant had financial restraints in getting items for the house and also had a cannabis debt to pay off, which was why he had been selling the cannabis to raise funds. So the guy found himself in a bit of trouble and seen cannabis, the sale of cannabis, to be an easy way for him to make money. But unfortunately, that easy way to make a bit of money actually came with quite a cost once he got caught with it. Because not only did he not make money, but he's down to Swanee for that $3,000 worth of cannabis. I suppose like he probably owed for that, or maybe that was the profits he had made from some hard work selling the rest of the kilo before he had got caught. Who knows, but it's an unfortunate turn of events for the individual. The judge presiding over this case, Catherine Staines, she said that the houses provided by Peter McVerry Trust are very well provided for. The judge asked Sergeant Kirby whether the accused had come to the Garda attention since, and she was informed that he had not. So she was kind of pointing out here that the Peter McVerry Trust houses are very well provided for. In other words, you don't really need money for items for your house, is kind of what she was saying. So she wasn't really buying the excuse given by the individual here in this case. Unfortunately for the man, he's got the linger now. The case is going to linger over his head until the 16th of December, as the judge put the matter back till then for a probation report. So again, here we have another example as to how the prohibition of cannabis is really failing those out there in society, because you have a vulnerable man, you could regard him as, because he fell down in hard times, seeing cannabis as being an easy way to tie that gap there, that financial gap that he was having troubles with. And unfortunately now he's up before our courts, and again at a cost to the taxpayer. So not only are we failing to take care of a vulnerable individual, but also in that we're missing an opportunity to save the state some money by not criminalising a person, and also make the state some money by just regulating that product. So that's a case that was in Portlaoise. Unfortunate turn of events there. Again, if this man is out there, if anybody knows him, if he wants to come forward, have a chat, go further into the story, be more than happy to share the platform here with you and have you on, just so you can get your side out there. Definitely believe that there's a bit more to the story, possibly. I definitely ain't buying the kind of the tying the gap. I want the bridge. It's like, okay, maybe. Look, it's possible. Who knows? Apologies, they're not just getting the next scene set up there for you guys. Yeah, this is we're moving on to budget, the budget 2022, and unfortunately for some, cannabis has not been included in budget 2022 as much as we would have liked to have. Would have been great actually if the likes of People Before Profit, great opportunity for them there to use this talks of the budget to platform the upcoming bill for cannabis legalization. But unfortunately, no, they didn't do it. Oops, apologies there. Wrong one popped up on screen. Boom. There we go. Budget. Apologies. My bad. So yes, here is the headline. Cannabis dealers rejoice at the recent budget as cannabis is to remain a tax-free industry. Yes, the Kinnins, the Hutches, and all of the other organised crime gangs were shouting with joy as the budget came out, and there was no provisions there being added to, or no taxes being added onto the cannabis industry. So the likes of the Kinnins, the Hutches, and the boys, all of the rest of the drug dealing gangs out there can continue to sell cannabis tax-free. So happy days for those guys involved in that industry. But meanwhile, the fuel prices are going so high across the country that vulnerable people, elderly people, might perish this winter to the cold. And that's a great job done by the Green Party, who are in government at the moment, as they imposed these bloody carbon fuel taxes, and it's putting the cost of fuel up now. So like even the cost of petrol there at the moment, it's going ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And the only people going to be harmed by these are the vulnerable people, the people already living on the poverty line or even below the poverty line, as I would be regarded as one of those, being on the receiving end of the dole. I think the poverty line is somewhere, I think, Russell, Mr. Banta. I think Mr. Banta said that the poverty line in Ireland is somewhere around the region of €250, €253, I think, if memory serves correct. But I get €203, you know what I mean? But the price of petrol and all that hits people like myself the hardest. And meanwhile, you've cannabis there. It's going untaxed, potentially bringing in excess of hundreds of millions, or even in excess of €1 billion for the Irish economy, our revenue. But no, we don't tax it. Instead, we tax the elderly. We tax the most vulnerable in our society. It's really messed up the way in which we do things, and it's really, again, a huge missed opportunity there by the likes of people before profit, who do have a bill coming up soon which is seeking to legalise cannabis here in Ireland. They could use this as a platform there to speak about their bill and the potential benefits it would bring to society. But look, let's hope maybe in 7 days' time, when Gino Kenny goes and actually speaks about cannabis again for the first time in a while, I would imagine, in a public kind of forum. That's on the Transition Greens talk there. That's happening on the 20th. You can register for a spot in it if you haven't done so already. But I'll be streaming it as well, guys, on the day. So if you haven't registered, or if you don't want to register, keep an eye out Martin's World. I'll stream that there. But again, as I say, like, it would be great to be able to hear there from Gino or the people before profit as to what it would mean to the Irish society if we were to legalise and regulate cannabis, and especially around budget time. What would it mean to the budget? What could budget 2023 look like if Gino's bill is successful and we have cannabis now included on it and this new form of income, Because the other liabilities are always going up, The other liabilities are the likes of sugar, tobacco, alcohol, and fuel, because people have to buy these things, But also in the budget, I suppose, there was some positive news for drug policy reformers out there, if you could call it that. But there was 16 million in funding announced for the drug strategy, social inclusion, and healthy Ireland. So you could take that as positive news, or you could take it as just being, a bunch of wasted time, because the likes of Frank Fian and his health-led approach there, who's in charge of the national drug strategy, none of that money's going to go to any good use. Maybe some leaflets to go out there that are only going to be maybe thrown away or are not really used for any good. Again, they're supposed to be implementing these drug testing facilities, and yes, what's going on there? Will that money be used for that? I don't know. But it's hopefully going to be something good anyway. But in the meantime, organised crime gangs, their industry, potentially worth 100 times more than that announcement there. If, let's say, it was in excess of €1 billion, Potentially almost 100 times more than that 1.6 or 16 million. 100, yeah, 100 times more than, and that, yeah, yeah, wouldn't it? Yeah, 100 times more. Yeah, sorry, I was just doing the maths there in my head. So yeah, 1.6 billion. Imagine the Irish cannabis industry was worth 1.6 million in taxes. That's the difference there between that, you know. And the boys are patting themselves in the back about this announcement. Oh yeah, great, well done. But meanwhile, you're spending hundreds of millions every year fighting this failed prohibition of cannabis. So yeah, that was an announcement that was put out there by our buddy old Frankie boy, Frankie Fian. I'll pop him up on screen there just so you can see his tweet. But I see many of you have already gone and responded there to our buddy Frank. So here's Frank. There's Frank's free. So talk to Frank. Very welcome indeed, he says that Fine Gael. But like within the 16 million in new funding for drug strategy, social inclusion, and healthy Ireland, like social inclusion, like what are they talking about here? Social inclusion, because like as a cannabis consumer, I certainly don't feel socially included in Ireland currently at the moment, especially when we have laws that could lock me up for many years if I get caught with just a bit too much of this lovely fine herb here. But yeah, some of the comments there, guys, you see, like Frank's page is funny when he puts a post up. I love seeing the comments that go up there afterwards. He gets a hard time, in fairness. I joined in on this occasion. But yeah, meanwhile, organised crime gangs celebrate cannabis remaining tax-free, saving them hundreds of millions every year. If taxed and regulated, cannabis could bring in excess of 1 billion every year for the state. And hashtag Frank the Plank, because he's about as thick as a bloody plank of wood up there. He's elbow shuffle. What a guy. Yeah, there we go. I love this one. The minister for sitting on his hands while the criminal gangs make hundreds of millions in profit off addiction and misery. And come on, Frank, be honest with yourself first before you spoof a whole nation. People ain't buying it, Frank. People ain't buying it. There's a few more. There's whoa, 16 million to enable you to cripple people suffering because of anti-scientific preconceived notions you have about drugs, more specifically cannabis. Can you yourself and Donnelly please get real? Coming in from Johnny Tightlips. You might Johnny Tightlips from Simpsons. Ah, shit, guys. Never mind. That you should have been seeing that up on screen there. My bad. I was just looking through some of the comments there. That was Frank Fian's post. Apologies, I never hit the transition button. But there's some of the comments up there coming in from some of the people who love to reply to Frank's posts. Let's go over to his page. Like I love the posts that go up there. In fairness, from like this is his one. He gets 8 comments there, and like all of the comments is just pure hate in it. Like, unfortunately. Not pure hate, like, but you know, people ain't happy. They're not happy. Dissatisfaction. That's what it is. Replies of dissatisfaction, not hate. Hate is too strong a word. We're not hating on him. That's personal. No, we're dissatisfied with you, Frank. Let's see, like, great initiative. Let's see. Look, there you go. Like, you can't even post about young fellas going out on their bikes, and boom, it's like, yes, Cannabis Reform Ireland hitting them. Hole's still getting in there as well. A pity you wouldn't show a bit, and that's in relation to a great initiative. So Frank shows no initiative, but you don't have it in you. You have no ideas. Nothing more than a yes man, a lick the hole. Just keep the sweet pay coming, and I'll continue doing nothing, lads. The best day of your life was running after the NIB thieves in the 90s. And Hole's still getting up a great infographic here as well, put out by the Association for Safer Drug Policies. Sophie did not die when she tried LSD. She'd had the substance tested and knew what it contained. So again, this poster aims to highlight some of the positive experiences with drugs, because again, you know, media campaigns and information campaigns only ever want to highlight the harmful effects of drugs, but a lot of people try these drugs, they don't die, and they have positive experiences, especially when it comes to the likes of LSD, MDMA, and even the likes of GHB. You know, shout out to the gay community out there. I'm sure they have a good time there on their GHB when they used it. When they're educated about it, Thomas did not die when he tried GHB. He avoided alcohol all night and dosed correctly. Again, education, regulation, and decriminalisation. That's how you're going to save lives. Knowledge can save lives. Hashtag harm reduction there and that, So yeah, let's drive on from Frankie Boy's page. We got off old Frankie. And it smell like cannabis. So next. Sorry guys, a bit all over the place there for today's headlines. Just getting them arranged there on the fly. That's that Casa Drogas. Sinn Féin Ardèche on the 30th has a motion going forward for a health-led approach, including harm reduction services. Excellent. Hopefully there's somebody educated in there actually on that, who will, fucking point them in the right direction and actually help them with that effort. Right, the next headline is a bit of a... Yeah, it's not a great one, to be fair. Like, it's another attempt at slandering the use of cannabis in society. So the Garda above in Limerick court, after a woman was brought there on a hit and run charge, dangerous driving charges, among others. He said in court that her cannabis addiction will lead her to commit other serious offences. That's rather like discomforting as a cannabis consumer to hear that. That there's people out there that believe that the consumption of cannabis is going to lead people to carry out as like crazy behaviours as what this lady actually carried out. There was CCTV footage played in court which actually showed this woman in her car. Well, it shows the car anyway, which the woman owns, as she's accused of this. It shows the car approaching a group of pedestrians in a busy area above in Limerick on the Corn Market Street at 1 o'clock in the morning. And it approached the pedestrians from behind before it appeared to do what it looked like speeding up and ploughing directly into the people walking on the footpath there. Some of the pedestrians in the footage can be seen being flung into the air by the impact before the car is being seen leaving the scene without stopping at all. And the Garda alleged that the car involved was red in colour, and the owner of the car, Chloe McNamara, 20 years of age, with an address above in Limerick, won't give her full address. But the Garda objected to bail on grounds of her being a serious flight risk, as well as, her cannabis addiction there being a reason for her to commit other more serious crimes. That's really a just messed up, in fairness. I just got to pop that up there again. Like the woman was involved in a hit run, and the guard's like, well, what's her cannabis consumption got to do with it? Like, she's got a cannabis addiction. Oh my God, go easy on her. Like, and what's even more sicker on this when I was reading into this? The maximum she can get for this crime, like, and the crime is serious. Like, one of the woman is one of the people she hit is in a critical condition. So some of the injuries there was 4 people actually seriously injured in this crime. One of them still remains in hospital in a critical condition, while 2 others have serious neck and back injuries, while a 4th is said to have serious injuries too, sustained serious injuries too. But the maximum this lady will get for this, 7 years. 7 years. If she's found guilty on this, 7 years. But meanwhile, if she was to be got caught with like 20 grand's worth of cannabis, 10 years. It's supposed to be mandatory as well. So how fucked up is that, How fucked up is that? Like, really, this woman should be up on attempted murder charges by the sounds of it. It seems premeditated if the what was seen in the video is kind of a reflection of what happened, that the woman approached the crowd from behind, sped up, and drove into him purposefully. That's attempted murder, like, if not, like, attempted manslaughter at least. A really messed up one. So yeah, that's the Irish justice system for you. This lady probably get off with it and all because of her cannabis addiction. They'll probably put her up for up in the Arbor House there, or one of the old Coonvertas, or one of the other places, to treat her for her addiction, because it's a serious one. Like, cannabis addiction, like, it leads you to mowing people down. Like, lads, Reefer Madness is alive and well in Ireland. Because that's exactly one of the scenes in Reefer Madness. The guy's like in his car and he's like, he's stoned, like, and whatever. And he just plows into somebody going across the zebra crossing, or at one of the crossroads. Like, he just plows into him for no fucking reason whatsoever. Like, John's just mad. As if cannabis is going to make you want to just knock somebody down, like. Let's hope that's not brought up as a reason against this motion at Sinn Féin's Ardèche there on the 30th, huh, Casa? Gas one, though. Are the comments out there? Effing Ace Facebook bomber dropping frames like an Israel bomber. Sorry about that, Johnny boy. That's not from my side anyway. It seems like Facebook ain't liking what I'm saying, I'd say. Chris Connolly, what's happening? Person had a seizure in front of me in a job, and all he needs, a seizure, and all he needs is weed. Yeah, it's messed up. I always talk about that. How many people out there, have succumbed to these seizures? Unfortunately, aren't with us still today. Who could have been still with us had they effective access to medical cannabis, or cannabis, just cannabis. Cannabis is medical. Like, that's the thing I hate. Like, yeah, medical cannabis. I'm going, Tom Curran, man, you planted a seed there, which really needed to be planted. Cannabis is medical. There is no such thing as medical cannabis. There is just medical use of cannabis. But medical cannabis, like, it's almost like a marketing term. There's medical cannabis and there's recreational cannabis. No, there's cannabis. That's it. Yeah, Daniel Crowley saying, yeah, it's a joke, they won't legalise it. It helps so many people. Yeah, so many people get helped by it, and it's really backwards here that what they're doing. I just can't understand it at all, and why isn't there just more conversation happening around, the idea of legalising cannabis, especially when it comes to the budget. Again, I just can't understand what's going on up there with the likes of the people before profit. It's even in their name, people before profit. It's just like, put the people before the profit. Come on, talk about what this would mean for the people in the budget. Don't talk about like profits, just talk about what it means for the people. Because, who cares about profits and stuff like that? Even if we were to have an industry set up that was not for profit, but still, what that would mean for the people. Come on, like, it's in your name. Get active, guys. I don't understand why you're not. Where do we go from here? We go to north of Ireland, I believe, for the next headline. Yes, up to the north. We're above in the north of Ireland. Or well, in that previous case, actually, with that woman, she was remanded in custody anyway. The judge wouldn't give her probation. And I'll follow up on that one. We'll see how the conversation goes in the next hearing for that lady in regards to her cannabis addiction. Fingers crossed this one works. Yes, there we go. Cannabis news in Northern Ireland. The prohibition of drugs, prohibition of cannabis mainly, continues to help fund paramilitary gangs, as £1.3 million in drugs was seized in a 2-week period. And this is in the north of Ireland, where in the last 2 weeks, well, I suppose since July really, much like we have down here in the south of Ireland actually, in the north of Ireland they have launched an operation above there known as Operation Dealbreaker. Operation Dealbreaker was launched back in July, much like our Operation Tara down here in Ireland, down here in the Republic. But this recent siege, the most recent seizure in this operation was above there in the north. And in the article they state, the opening of it is like, the PSNI have delivered another massive blow to the UVF. And the UVF, guys, if you don't know, it's the Ulster Volunteer Forces, which is basically, it's a paramilitary gang who basically don't want to be supporting when you're buying your fucking herb, for your glaucoma or your back pain, or just for, relaxing after you finish a hard day's work. You don't want to be going out there supporting these guys, and unfortunately, you don't really have a choice in it because of prohibition. But you know that's the opening of the headline. A massive blow to the UVF after drugs linked to the East Belfast crime gang were discovered early this morning. And this was where the officers from the police service in Northern Ireland, the paramilitary crime task force, who were investigating suspected drug criminality linked to the loyalist mob, carried out a search of a property in Bearsbridge area of the city. And during that search, they found suspected cocaine and cannabis with a combined street value in excess of £25,000, along with some cash and other paraphernalia also associated with the supply of drugs. A man in his 30s was arrested on suspicion of possession of Class A and B controlled drugs, and he's been charged also with intent to supply and possession of criminal property. He remained in custody until last night. Detective Inspector McGuire says the possession and supply of drugs within the communities should not and indeed will not be tolerated. Today's arrest and drug seizure reflects our ongoing commitment to safeguarding local people. But he's wrong. Isn't he not wrong? Like in what he says there, like the possession and supply of drugs within communities should not and indeed will not be tolerated. But it is tolerated. When you go down to your local shop, they have tobacco there. They actually have sugar there. They have coffee there. In fact, your local store, if it has an off license, it probably has alcohol there. In fact, in the north of Ireland, off licenses are a lot more common, I suppose, because I don't know, is there the ability to get the license easier? But yeah, drugs are tolerated within communities. It's just that there's certain drugs you don't tolerate, and because of that, then you wage this war, which actually it goes against what your commitment is to safeguarding people in the local community, because the prohibition of drugs, it fucking empowers these criminal gangs, the UVF. How is it in the interest of the local community to prop up the UVF by keeping in place the prohibition of, say, cannabis? You know, how is that in the interest of the community? It's not. It's messed up, it really is. Like, it's so backwards, and they get away with spouting this stuff all the bloody time, like. But people need to wake up to it, and people need to challenge them on it as well, you know. So again, you know, in this operation, in the 2 weeks, cops conducted 94 searches. They seized 317 drug exhibits, and they made 129 arrests and charged 55 people for drug-related offences. And caught up inside in the seizures actually were some sweets. As we all know it, you know, the old sweeties there get caught up in the seizures. So here's pictured one of the members of the police service in Northern Ireland, alongside some of the massive seizures, some of the drugs that were seized, and pictured alongside of her are some edibles. Again, we noticed down in the south, this has been brought up. So yeah, edibles made up a sizable quantity of the £1.3 million worth of drugs seized there over the last 2 weeks. But again, to give you the same old waffle up there, oh, we're concerned for the kids. Oh, these drug dealers are putting them in these like attractive packaging, trying to sell them to the kids, make it more alluring to kids. But we all know that's a lie. Like, the dealers are not doing that for that reason. They're doing it because, like, me as an adult, it's just like, I think these fucking stoner patch packets, yeah, that's attractive. I would buy that. Like, if I go to the shop, it's like, I like the natural food confectionery. I like their little dinosaurs and their little snakes and stuff like that. That attracts me, and even as an adult. The marketing works in me as an adult. They do this, yes, you know. But that's why they're doing it. It's not to attract kids. Like, there's no place where these things are being advertised as such. Like, there's no storefront where they're being advertised to kids. Okay, Instagram and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm blocking the hot box there. Actually, my bad. She eats all the normal sweets in the chippers. She probably took a few of these home for herself as well. But you know, like, again, the dealers aren't doing this to target kids. That's pretty much it. The dealers are doing this because, like, they want to have attractive packaging. These things are being sold en masse in bulk from the likes of Wish.com and Alibaba Express, and even in Mad. You can go into Mad and you can buy like fucking 100 packs of I think they had the stoner patch ones in there at one point in time, like, and they had the different like Cali packs in there as well for sale. You know, people go in there, hand over 15 quid or whatever it is for the 100 packs, like, and then they go in and put like a little bit of product in that they make a home for themselves, and they can sell that then for like €100 because, oh, it's Cali, but it's Cali. It's like, no, there's no dealer out there actively trying to sell to your kids. It's like, they're not, but they're free to do it because of prohibition. Yes. So again, if you're really concerned for kids, get out there and actively campaign against prohibition. Try to regulate the market and put safeguards in place, such as regulations as age limits, security at the front door of a premises to make sure that kids underage do not get in. It makes no sense to continue with this prohibition. How did they get away with supporting it? Like, I would love to see a proper full-on debate like on this. I know they had one in the UK recently, and it was very interesting. It wasn't even a debate, though. There was no real debate. Like, there wasn't no one side versus the other side. It was just a bunch of people saying their piece, and that was it. Like, there was no real judges as such like that. There was no back and forth in the debate, rebuttaling each other and stuff like that. There was none of that. There was no real debate. I'd love to see a proper real debate there between, I don't know, let's say Gino Kenny, Eamon Ryan, and Stephen Donnelly and Frank Fian. Yeah, the two boys, yeah, two teams. Like Gino and fucking Eamon Ryan on one side, Frank Fian and Stephen Donnelly on the other side. Feck it, like, I would give money to see that happen, in fairness. Like, RT, come on, like, gads, get the finger out. Like, to, what was it, tonight, on whatever, the Tonight Show? Come on, guys, this is for ye. Like, they'll never come on Martin's World and do it for me, but there you go, like, there's a show. A debate on drug policy featuring Eamon Ryan with Gino Kenny up against Luke, up against Frank Fian and Stephen Donnelly. That would be an incredible one to get going. But it'll never really happen. The boys won't do it. Frank and Stephen, they won't, because they know they'll get crushed. They'll be smushed. They would. Because like they can argue their soundbite, they can get their 5 minutes out, but once it gets rebutted, they have no response. They can never come back. They can't be rebutted. They can't argue against any of your rebuttals and their positions, because any argument the prohibitionist gives you, you can smash it. You'll always find holes in it, because again, prohibition is not going to work, and it's never going to work. It doesn't work, and it's never going to work. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, UVF, ugly, vile effers. I agree with you there, Johnny White. Kosher Kush, pal, OG Kush, but smells of peaches. Nice, Wooly, nice. I had smelling some stuff there recently, actually, that smelled straight up like Dip Dab. You know the Dip Dab, the sherbet inside it, like if you were to rip open a Dip Dab, honest to God, like the stuff, and it wasn't even trimmed yet, like it was still up in its full form, and I just kind of like gave the bud a little touch. The buddy allowed me to, and smell my hand. I was like, oh my God, I was like, smell my fingers. And yeah, he was happy, he did too. Yeah, Podge, don't forget to show your support and hit that like button and share the stream too. Nice one, Podge. Definitely getting that reminder out there to people. Hit the like button and hit that share button as well, guys. Get it out there to many people, far and wide. We have more headlines coming at you from in the UK. I'm just going to get the headline up there now. And again, my fucking apologies there, guys, for being all over the place and not having these headlines actually properly lined up. Drug courier, there we go, that's the one. So a drug courier over in the UK, he was caught with 13 kilos of cannabis. And in court, when asked if he had smelled a strong smell of cannabis, he said that he had COVID 3 weeks beforehand and he couldn't smell the cannabis. This is a case of a Vietnamese national. Can't pronounce his first name, but I'm not going to butcher it either. But his surname is Thai, so let's call him Mr. Thai. Mr. Thai, a Vietnamese national, was caught with 13 kilos of cannabis. He claimed to have no knowledge of the cannabis when he was stopped and intercepted. He said that the cannabis was packed in his van, and he was told that the cannabis actually was it was laundry. It contained laundry and what else was in there? Sorry. Oh, he was told it was laundry, food, and medicine. That's what it was. So he thought that the laundry bags contained laundry, food, and medicine inside in the boot of the car. Also, interesting in this case, this individual entered the UK illegally back in 2014. So another maybe potential victim of human trafficking there in this instance. But Mr. Toy said when asked, but there was a very strong smell of cannabis. The cops when they pulled him over, that's what they said. They said that they smelled cannabis, and that's why they searched his vehicle. And he was just like, well, yeah, I had COVID 3 weeks beforehand, so I couldn't smell nothing. So it's a good defense there, in fairness, guys. And look, if you find yourselves in court and it's like, yeah, well, you know, well, I have COVID, I couldn't smell the cannabis. I didn't know it was there. It must have fell out of my buddy's pocket. I didn't even know he had cannabis in my car. So an interesting defense there. But the judge wasn't buying it in this case, and he jailed Mr. Ty for 14 months. And he said that you fled from the police initially, and I'm quite satisfied that was because you knew exactly what was in the car and you knew the reason why you were doing it. And for that reason, the judge had no problem jailing him for 14 months. 14 months for 130,000 worth of cannabis, 13 kilos. It's not that bad, but still, it's too much. Like one day, in my opinion, is too much. So that's a case coming out of the UK. And oops, apologies, didn't mean to switch that there. Another case, and it's featuring a UK man, but the UK man is a bit far from home. And this is a news story that actually broke on Monday, but I didn't get to include it in the headlines. But this is a news story that's coming out of Dubai, and as many of you know, Dubai is not a place that you want to be getting caught with cannabis. But in this case, and it's sick, this guy didn't get caught with cannabis. What did he get caught with? This guy got caught with CBD oil. This is the case of Billy Hood, a 24-year-old British soccer coach who got caught with CBD oil in his car in Dubai, and he's after getting a 25-year jail sentence. That's sickening, guys. Seriously, like, sickening. I hope the guys over in the UK are going to get active about this. I don't know, there's Dubai of like an embassy in the UK, but there needs to be fucking a big smoke up outside of the Dubai fucking embassy in the UK if you've got one over there or something along those lines. Like, this guy doesn't even consume cannabis, at least he says, he's big, apparently an anti-drug kind of guy. He's like big into his fitness, a fitness fanatic. Also a dedicated coach, has given up many years of his life in order to achieve, what he's achieved in the coaching, all of the badges, and he's got aspirations there, he's got goals, dreams, and never did he think that he would find himself in this situation where he was hanging out with friends. It says there that he was hanging out with friends back at his apartment. They were after going back there, ordering some food. And while waiting on the food, he had gone out to his car. And when he went out to his car, the cops jumped out from all over the place. And they arrested him and searched his car. And in the car, they found some bottles of CBD oil. And what makes it worse, it's not even his CBD oil, apparently. It's one of his buddies' CBD oil. Apparently, anyway, at least that's according to, I don't know, is it himself or was it his mother that was saying this? Because his mother spoke out as well, because obviously, if you find your son receiving a 25-year sentence over in a foreign country, as one such as Dubai, that's going to be a fucking traumatic experience to be going through, it's like as close to as, having him been dead over there, yes, effectively, like, I don't know, do they get the death penalty? I don't think they do the death penalty in Dubai, but like 25 years, like this guy's 24 years of age, that's effectively a life sentence for him. Because it's more than what he's lived already on the sort, if he was to have spent all of every day in behind bars, 25 years in behind bars, 24 years out, living his life, spent a small bit of it as a baby, another bit as a kid, a teenager, and then a lot of it dedicated to the young people, to coaching, to his sport, to his own career. It's sickening, like, but this is Prohibition this is a real horrible example of Prohibition, actually. Because like his CBD oil that he had, if it was just pure CBD, that mightn't have been a problem, but it said there that when tested, it was found to have contained traces of THC, which again wouldn't be a problem over in the UK, where people can freely go in and buy these products in the likes of Holland and Barrett. But for this individual, no, over in Dubai, they have a strict no tolerance policy. Like, even if you have it in your system, like if you spent a few days in Amsterdam and back to Dubai, Dubai's will be trying to lock you up for having fucking THC in your system. So a sick one, you know. So I could shout out there to the people helping him out. His brother there. I'll pop it up on screen. Again, yeah, there we go. Billy's brother, Alexander. So shout out to Billy's brother, Alexander. He's set up a GoFundMe page, which is currently raised over £11,000, which is to aid with legal fees. And it's appalling here. The British Embassy over there aren't even helping in this case. At least that was put out there by Billy's brother and family, that the embassy have been little to no of assistance to them in this case. I'll pop up on screen here the Instagram page that was created by Billy's brother Alexander, called Free Billy Hood. So go check that out. Give it a follow, guys, if you haven't done so already. 1,247 followers as of right now. Here's what's up in their story. Let's see what's happening. So lots of support coming in from around the world, obviously. So this is up in their story. Thank you for everyone's continued support. We can tell how much it means. Please keep pushing and sharing. # Free Billy Hood. Yeah, absolutely, gent. Yeah, we might try to reach out to the guys here at Free Billy Hood and try to, you know, help them highlight their campaign even further and have them on there as a guest in the coming days. I'm sure they'll appreciate every media platform offered to them to help highlight this case, because 25 years, lads, for CBD. Come on, like, CBD, that's sick. It really is. It's sick. So yeah, that's a lot of coverage of the story as well. You know, the Irish Times, Daily Mail, Sunday, the Irish Mirror, the Mirror, Complex, Daily Star, High and Polite. That's a good one, actually, guys. High and Polite. If you haven't gone over there, they put out some good articles from time to time. Even in France, so an article gone out there in France. Un footballeur de 24 ans été emprisonné pendant 25 ans après que the policiers. I'll stop there now. Sorry, probably butchering my French. Like, it's been a while, like, since doing any French. French. Vive la France. Good press, Free Billy Hood. Over on BBC News. There you go. Nice. Happy days. Good to see. So just happy there to highlight this story. Big props to Randa Sterling and Jana Bell, really pushing it, and they're fighting Billy's corner. Nice. So good to see. I should fucking pull up my phone there now and actually retweet or reshare some of their stuff over on Instagram myself. But guys, get over there if you're on Instagram yourselves. Get over, give them a follow, and help. You know, just share their stuff up in your story there. Because, you know, 25 years for fucking CBD. Come on, like, get off the stage, Dubai. That's sick. That's backwards. It really is, like. So where do we go from there? Apologies now, guys, again, just getting ahead of myself here with the news again. Just catch up with where we were. So we go from Dubai. Yes, we go from Dubai to Portugal. Yes, where we go to Portugal to an article that I recently released there on my blog. So head over to martinsworld.ie and the 420 News blog up there. I've been releasing some blogs of my own, some articles of my own, I suppose, news articles and opinion pieces as well attached to those news articles. And, you know, it's cannabis related as well. So get over there, check them out, and start sharing them as well. Help bring more people, the news to more people's attention with a little bit of my opinion. Can help. But yes, Snoop Doggy Dogg, yes, Snoop Dogg's Casa Verde, who I've talked about before in the podcast. Casa Verde is an investment firm which focuses on investment in the cannabis industry. They've recently announced a €13 million investment into Portugal's medical cannabis company, AceCann. And so again, look, this is good news, bad news. I don't know. It depends on what your perspective is on this. Like if you're the likes of Alicia Maher, like how can this be regarded as like somewhat good news? It's like, oh yeah, Snoop Dogg gets to invest 13 million and he gets to make some money going down the road. It's like I'm still stuck here in Alicante. I'm still stuck here without a route to go home and have access to a medicine which provides me a better quality of life. You know, it's maddening, really. Like when you see things like that these people are investing all of this money, making all of this money all the time, and at the same time we're denying people access to this. We're locking people up for self-medicating with this product. But meanwhile, around the world, it's like it's a traded commodity. It's a multi-million, it's a multi-billion at this stage euro industry around the world. Being traded on the stock market now, where companies are making hundreds of millions, and it's crazy. So it's great for Snoop. It's great if you're out there and if you've got like 13 million to invest into some ludicrous company. But meanwhile, if you're the likes of myself, if you're the likes of Alicia Maher, well, what does that really mean for you? Like, you can't even grow this plant out your back garden. But meanwhile, the likes of Snoop Dogg, the likes of other big names out there, David Beckham, there's a few others out there are free to get involved in the industry. They're free to explore it. They're free to create their patents. That's what's kind of going on here. They're making this patented technology, these patented processes, so that they can sell you back a product that you could easily make yourself if it wasn't illegal. It's messed up. Like, I'd love to be more positive in that one. I really would love to be more positive on that one. But knowing, like, that Alicia's still stuck over in Alicante, it's hard to be positive in news stories like this. Knowing that there's still people across Ireland, like the likes of Jen Devlin out there, relying on organised crime gangs, relying on criminal sources to provide her with the medicine that provides her relief from her condition, And Jen Devlin, who's been a guest on the podcast before, she suffers with fibromyalgia and ankylosing spondylosis. I think it's how it's pronounced anyway. AS for short, let's say. But that leaves her with debilitating chronic pain. And she has to rely on criminals out there, literally people breaking the law to provide her with medicine. And quite often now she finds herself without it. And without it, she's unable to do things, such as simply as get up in the morning and dress herself, without assistance. It's sickening, but meanwhile for Snoop Dogg, happy days. Snoop gets to invest 13 million into a company that's going to do work around a plant that apparently we're being told is a dangerous drug and has no medicinal benefits, but at the same time has a lot of therapeutic compounds that have medicinal benefits that are being investigated all over the world. And the evidence is growing right now. As we speak right now, there's probably a researcher out there right now doing an investigation into a compound for a product for a company that's cannabis based right now, and it's going to add to it, and it's going to be exported, and these products then they get patented and they get sold back to you, all because you can't really grow it yourself at home. It's crazy, like. So yeah, good news there for Snoop Doggy Dogg. Sorry, just getting up my notes there on that headline. But yeah, the chief executive of AceCann, he said that this is a huge announcement. The support of Snoop Dogg and Casa Verde is a real show of confidence in the startup. Sorry, I moved my mouse there and lost where I was looking at. But also, it in the article, it highlights the growing value of the cannabis industry across Europe. Where in 2024 there's estimates that the cannabis industry in Europe is going to be worth in excess of 13 billion euro and growing. That's some crazy money. Casa or AceCann themselves expect to be making as much as 15 to 20 million euro in annual sales by 2024 themselves too. But meanwhile, the likes of Albertillo, who's been a guest on the podcast as well before, he remains in jail currently. Albertillo is coming close to his 1 year mark in jail. He's, I believe now, he's 327 days currently behind bars for his crime of being involved in the management of a cannabis association over in Barcelona, where we all believed for it to be kind of like tolerated and legal, but unfortunately, you know, for the likes of Albert Tio, that's not the case, you know. So yeah, you know, great news there for Snoop Dogg, but unfortunately for the likes of Albert Tio, it was like, it's like what he gets to invest 30 million into medical cannabis, but our cannabis association is like, I'm going to spend 5 years behind bars. And we were like doing like great things. I believe when Albertio was on with me talking about it, they had like over 50% of their members were patients, and the patients were being looked after by the club. Like there was a big subsidization. In fact, some of the patients were actually even getting their medicine free from the clubs in certain situations. And that benefited from the fact that like the other 50% of the cannabis supplied was to non-medical users who were happy to pay that extra bit in order to support the patients, you know. But yeah, Albert's a big criminal, and meanwhile, you know, Snoop is a great investor. It's messed up. It's backwards, really, guys. It really is backwards. The way in which we treat people across this across the world on this issue in regards to cannabis prohibition. But we drive on, guys, and we go to some more positive news. Depending again on how you look at this, perspective is everything. We go to Idaho, over to America, where in America, the Idaho police have announced that they're going to step up efforts to patrol the border there between Idaho and Nevada after a cannabis dispensary has popped up on its border. So again, as I say, like depending on what way you look at this, good or bad news. Like if you're a person over there who has to traverse that border daily, maybe might be for work or whatever, because it's a frequently travelled route. Even before this cannabis dispensary opened up, like people from Idaho, places like Twin Falls, it's called, which is only about an hour away from this Jackpot Valley, Magic. Or no, the place. Sorry, the place is called Jackpot. That's actually called Jackpot, is the name of the place in Nevada on the border. It's a little town called Jackpot. So people from Idaho use frequently travel over to Jackpot anyway to do a bit of gambling in over there, you know, given Nevada's laws around gambling and stuff like that. But now that there's going to be Magic Valley Cannabis Dispensary opening up there in Jackpot, it's believed that people are going to travel over there more frequently now. And the lawmakers over in Idaho, you know, they're fucking doing the Helen Lovejoy in it, you know. Oh, won't somebody think of the children? Oh my God, crime is going to go up. Oh, it's terrible. And you know, it's really that's what they're doing. Really, you know, they're saying because over there across the border now, because cannabis is there. Well, law and order on our side is going to it's all going to fall apart now because of them. It's messed up. It really goes to show what kind of a system you have in place within your state there in Idaho, really, that if another state legalizes a product, that's going to cause all sorts of problems for you. Because why? Because yes, your citizens, the people living in your state, they want it. What does that say about your policies? It's not reflecting the desires of your people. And what does that say about your efforts there on the border? All it's going to do, it's just going to piss people off, you know. Otherwise, law-abiding people, you know, people who travel over to another state who enjoy some cannabis over there, they're going to be hassled now on the border because probably they're not just going to be looking for cannabis. They're probably going to be doing things like DUIs and stuff. Like, have you been smoking cannabis today, sir? Please provide a specimen of your saliva, sir. Please step out of the vehicle, sir. I'm going to need your vehicle. Going to need to see your license and registration. Right, no more impersonating cops. But yeah, that's some good news, I suppose, in Idaho in Nevada there for those residents in Jackpot. So, you know, because it's a positive thing there. You know, they didn't have a cannabis dispensary there before, and now they do. Happy days. It's not good for Idaho though, as Wyoming is the last remaining border state of Idaho who has not yet legalized cannabis in any form. So yeah, that's some positive news there coming out of America. What's happening in the comments? Cannabis can be eaten Cannabis space cake, wheat. Yes, indeed. We all know cannabis can be eaten. Come on, global resistance. We ain't that far behind, pal. Fridge burn, what's going on, Fridge? We need a serious clear out in the dial before there's even a sniff of a chance of a legalisation. Free the weed. Tommy Chong for Taoiseach. Yes. Tommy Chong for president. Yeah, definitely. I would agree with you there in some regards. Definitely, Fridge burn. But definitely, I think that we, the people, have the power, and we've more power than the people in power. And we have to remember that. We really do have to remember that. And the united people is something that all governments are afraid of, and that's what they're trying to do at the moment. They want to keep us divided, and it's been working beautifully for them. You know, we have the people who are free and unafraid to speak out, people like myself. And then we have the people who have like jobs. They've got things, you know, that they feel like they need to protect by not speaking out. They feel that if they speak out, they'll be jeopardized. And there's a division there then in regards to that, you know. I don't hold it against those people. I completely understand and I'll support, you know. But also I will encourage them and call for them to speak out too. But I have no hard feelings to the people who don't speak out. I can understand what that fear is like, and they even get apprehensive. I'm not afraid. It's just smart. It's a smart thing to do. It's like, all right, boy, calm down. Relax. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. No, I was just looking at your comments there. Yeah, the Taoiseach, yeah, and the clear out of the dial. Yeah, if we the people unite, we could definitely get cannabis legalisation to happen, and we have an opportunity coming up with Gino's bill. So guys, once he comes out, guys, I think we really need to like just take the gloves off, like just leave no stone unturned. Everything we can do, we need to do. And for me, it's going to be mass civil disobedience, guys. Just start going into the guard stations with little bags of CBD, with little plants, with little seedlings, tiny little seedlings. We have to do it en masse. And once Gino's bill is announced, and if we launch that sort of a campaign, then the debate is going to get interesting. There's going to be, well, how can the state continue to enforce this prohibition when you've now got 100 people a day going into the Garda stations across the country asking to be processed? You know, the DPP can't keep up with this. The courts can't keep up with this. We can't afford this. Happy days, you know what I mean? Let's back and do it, guys. Let's unite. You know, because again, as I was saying, it's worth repeating that we the people have more power than the people in power. Yeah. The people have more power than the people in power. Yeah. We the people have more power than the people in power. Yeah, I think that's how it goes. I can't remember how that saying goes. Somebody in the comments might get it in and say it better than me. I'm definitely mixing that one up. But we go for one more headline, guys. And shit, I just missed 420 actually. Shout out to the boys over in the Azores, Casa de Strogas, over in the Azores. I think it's 420 over there now, aren't you? So enjoy. Hopefully it's 423 now. But we go to our last headline today, guys, and it's a bit of a positive one again. Positive, is that the right word? Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just going to get my little lower third up for you. There we go. Yes, launched. Transition. Boom. Cannabis news from Canada. The Ontario Cannabis store has released a very interesting video recently, which highlights the effects of cannabis prohibition beautifully. And they did so using, and I thought this was a cool little video, in fairness. It's a guy coming over basically selling meat. So it's kind of like, you know, what would happen if meat was prohibited, you know, and you had to get meat from a meat dealer who would like come by to your gaff and like, come here, do you want this bag of meat? So I'm going to pop this up on screen there now for you guys, and I'm going to quickly run it and grab some ishka while I do that because I'm parched. I'll make this bigger as well, so because I'm going to be absent. Boom.
Hey man, thanks for coming over.
No problem. Good to see you.
Wait, no, the volume is fucking always terribly low. Boom.
Hey man, thanks for coming over.
No problem. Good to see you.
You too.
So here it is. Looky look. Look at that marbling. This is some meat heaven right here, all right?
Oh, what kind of meat is it?
It's the best kind, man. It's the best kind, you know?
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, obviously. But I mean, is it beef or pork or does it come from a farm?
But, I'm your meat bro here, right? You know.
Yeah, no, totally.
Wouldn't be like that.
Yeah, but it's just, I'm barbecuing for some friends that don't eat meat all the time, so I want to be able to tell them, what it is.
Right. Oh, that's important for sure. Okay, all right. Scallops? You like charcuterie? You like charcuterie? No, I got quail. I got a hot dog.
What?
I got a hot dog.
So yeah, there you go. Like that's a fine example of the effects of prohibition for us as cannabis consumers. People who go buy cannabis out there, that's what you're dealing with. For most people out there, I think they describe it as like the strain of cannabis they most often buy is do you want it? Do you want it or not? That's the strain. Like, do you want it or not? What strain is that? And the dealer is looking at you stupid and it's like, it's weed, boy. What are you on about, boy? It's weed, boy. Look at it, boy. It's weed. And that's the reality for us out there, and I love that little piece at the end of it there, when the guy was just kind of like, no, I'm good, and he's like, but wait, I got hot dogs, I got quail, I got rabbit, and he's just like throwing it all out there, seeing what the guy will snatch up, and that exactly is what would go on like over in the likes of, say, Portugal, where like we always talk about Portugal. And how great the policy is, but the policy creates problems there too, where it enables low-level street dealing, and that's what goes on in the streets over there. A dude will come up to you and he's like, "Oh man, you want some grass? You want some cannabis? I got some lovely marijuana there." And you're like, "No, oh no, you don't like that, man. You like Charlie? You want some ecstasy? You want some heroin? I can get it for you, man. I can get it for you." Like, and that's what I experienced firsthand over in Portugal. Here in Ireland, I also experienced something similar but less pushy. Like, you go down to the dealer and it's like, no, we've no hash there, but we've got some Xanax. Do you want some Xanax? And I'm like, no. Oh, yeah, I know about it. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't really push me, but you got offered them. You got offered them anyway. And that's the reality for people here in Ireland at the moment. So yeah, I just thought that was a lovely little video just to finish off today's 420 news with. And I hope you enjoyed today's show, guys. My apologies just for being a bit all over the place there with those lower thirds. I have to render them all before like I can put them into the Streamlabs. It takes a bit of time, and I only just got it finished before hitting the live button, so I didn't actually have them in my Streamlabs, so I was doing it as I went. So I hope you didn't mind. Hopefully it wasn't too noticeable. I see Daily Talkers calling for Martin for president. Do you like me all that much, yeah? Joking, jokes. What are comments out there? Tom Hennessy, what's happening, Tom? Hope you're well, bud. Tom says, I comment on the feed the whole time. Apologise for that. Tom, you're fine, man. You don't need to apologise at all. But it's great to see your comments up there. In fairness, always. Nice comments. I don't ever regard you as a spammer. I wouldn't regard you as a spammer, Tom. Tom saying, I've done this, and the reaction, I'll go back a bit more. What can you do on the individual level what we can do on the individual level is if you're pulled and are stopped by Garda, tell them directly that the Misuse of Drugs Act needs to be scrapped. I've done this, and the reaction has been different from individuals recently. Interesting. Yeah, I've done that myself as well in the past. It's been a while now, touch bloody wood, that I've had to deal with a cop in a stop and search situation. But I would kind of always argue, hey, what am I doing wrong? Why are you stopping me? I'm not doing anything illegal. Leave me alone. Like, this Misuse of Drugs Act, jog on with it. I don't stand under it. But Tom Hennessy says, but the thing is, Martin, if you speak out and your employers try and you get fire you or get rid of you, say it back, it's unfair dismissal. Yeah, you could do that, definitely, Tom. And there's people successfully won those cases too over in the UK. So yeah, that is always a possibility. If you ever get fired for cannabis, you definitely should contemplate unfair dismissal. Yeah, John Finnegan, reminding me. Yeah, definitely. But I did indeed. I got burned in Portugal. Your memory is not incorrect there on that one. When I was in Portugal, when I was over there, I was foolishly bought some ash. It smelled nice. It really did smell nice. Like, in fairness, guys, and that's another re-warning there for you guys. If you're ever in Portugal, don't ever buy off of those dudes in the streets. Go into a local pub or something like that over there anyway, and ask a local guy. Don't be asking and not trying to be racist, but those like fucking street rat dudes over there, like they were like Romanian dudes, gypsy dudes, and there was a load of them, like, and they were all like the Romanian street gangs. They were notorious over there. And it probably wasn't just Romanians, like, but there was definitely like they weren't Portuguese anyway. They weren't locals. So just be wide. Ask somebody local. Go into a bar. Go into a bar and say, "Hey, look, I'm looking to get some cannabis." And even if you can't get it at the bar, go to a CBD store. There's CBD stores over in Portugal. Go into a CBD store and say, "Hey, look, I'm looking for something a bit stronger than CBD," and they'll point you in a better direction anyway. You know. But yeah, I got stung for, was it fucking 50 quid over there, for a bit of hash, unfortunately. Sore man, alright, it was indeed. Charlie Charlson, walking into a dispensary in Canada was insane. It looked slick and clean, like an Apple store with iPads, for you to select what kind of flavour, buzz, etc. did you want, to narrow down the best strain for you. Nice, and that's the way it should be. That's exactly how it should be. You should be able to walk into a premises and you should be saying, you know, I suffer with condition X, Y, and Z, and I would like relief. I would like to use cannabis for relief from those conditions. And then they'll say, yes, go away, come on in. We have these strains here. These strains have been shown to be very promising for people with these conditions. It just makes sense to do it that way, but unfortunately, look, we know what way it is in Ireland. Daily Talker says, Xanax, I would compare to alcohol, just dissolves your conscience. I took 2 Xanax before, but I think it was Xanax. My buddy Kieran gave them to me when we were flying over to Thailand, and I think I've talked about this here on the podcast in the past. Like, he gave me one, and I took it just before we got on the plane, and I was like, nah, give me edibles. I'm fucking going to eat edibles in future before I fly. Like, go high before you fly. Yeah, Casa the Strugas there pointing out why the hash actually smelt like, or the bay leaf extract smelt like hash. It's because when the guys are making it, he says that they roll the bay leaf extract in real hash in order to give it the smell, but not actually containing any THC. Dirty feckers. You mean they actually have real hash? But he says it's best to avoid Lisbon altogether. Yeah, a bit of a plague there. Too much of a tourist trap, like, and these guys just want to prey on people down there, who are kind of desperate and vulnerable. Daily Talker says, loving coming home to see my little bamboo plant getting bigger and bigger. Nice. Good to hear, man. Good to hear. Love me some bamboo. Other comments coming in there. John Finnegan, nice one to see. John's, that's brilliant. Nice. Brian O'Sullivan, he says, the power is in the hands of the people. We just need to manifest it and show the politicians that their role is to serve the will of the people. You said it, Brian. You said it, pal. I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. Charlie Charlson says, can always smoke up a 424 because what is 424 but for smoking? Oh yes, I love it. I love it, Charlie. So we got 420, we got 422, and now we got 424, because what is 424 but smoking, of course. Yes, I love it. Yes. Good man, Charlie. Fucking epic. Brian O'Sullivan also getting in there. We need to bring about a universal law that legalizes the sacred herb, a law that challenges the legality of the illegal law that currently criminalizes it. Well, that kind of is our human rights, isn't that? Our human rights effectively kind of are being violated because of the Misuse of Drugs Act. The Misuse of Drugs Act is actually a violation of our human rights. And human rights are enshrined constitutionally. They should not be so easily overrode by these acts put in place by these easily corruptible individuals that we call politicians. But yeah, that universal law that's out there, it's like, your right to privacy, your right to fucking freedom and liberty, that shouldn't be taken away because you choose to consume a herb, a sacred herb at that, like, a lovely sacred herb that I'm overdue a bowl of. Well, guys, I actually got 3 more minutes, guys. 3 more minutes, and I will have to lovey and leavey. So if you got any comments that you want to be read out, if I've missed any of your earlier comments, get them back in there again, and just at Martin Connon or something like that in the chat, and I'll see it. But otherwise, I'm going to have to sign off there in just about 3 minutes. I've to, again, daddy duties, guys, extracurriculars, kids need to be collected and stuff like that. So we're going to walk down with the dogs and collect Alexis. We'll see if Alexis wants to play some It Takes Two later. Maybe we might be back on. Oh no, sorry, actually, Green Tea. I cannot forget, actually. Got a chat with Green Tea later. So, right. Might even still be able to get in the game if It Takes Two with Alexis. We get back early from training. Let's blaze one up, guys. Let's do this together. If you're out there, guys, get your torches of freedom at the ready, and let's engage in civil disobedience. And just to be all accommodating, guys, you mightn't be consuming by way of combustion, but for those who might be vaporizing or using edibles, use your own choice of words there. For people with vaporizers, what would you call it? Your device of civil disobedience. That's a new name for your vaporizer. My device of civil disobedience. There you go, guys. For consumers, then it's just like my freedom food. I eat this food to be free. Excuse me. It's that COVID 420. Yes, that's the one. Paddy J said it right there. The power of the people is stronger than the people in power. That was the saying I was trying to think of. I've heard it chanted at protests a few times, but I'm always a fudger with words. I'm on sure of Fudger. What's going on, Fudge? He's blazing. Good man, Fudge. Nice. Johnny Finnegan missed my Facebook or the Xanax story because of Facebook stories. Thanks to these 7 snotty orphans, I can watch the stream back. Great man, Martin. No, don't play a game with Alexis. I will be up all night again, you fuckers. I'll have to be off by 8 o'clock anyway. I've got an interview there with Green Tea lined up this evening, as I say, guys, and I'll aim to have that one released to you hopefully by Friday. But we're going to talk about growing and what it's like to be a grower in Ireland and a carer and all things cannabis then as well, so it should be a good one. I look forward to it. Love that title for a vape pen. I should register that actually as a trademark now. It's the device of civil disobedience, or my civil disobedience device. Daniel Crowley, when will the next live stream be? If I don't go live playing the computer game later on with my daughter Alexis, then the next live stream will be on Friday at 4:20. It'll be a pre-recorded interview that I'll be doing with Green Tea. Just for the comfort of Green Tea. It's it's not easy to come out and speak about being a grower in Ireland for fear of being targeted. So we have to be careful about how we do this, and I have to make sure that I don't make any exposures there that aren't wanted. So I won't be doing that one live, unfortunately. weapons of mass disobedience. Nice. Love it. Podge says, enjoy your chat later on and have a nice evening all. Nice one, Podge. Have a nice evening yourself as well. And any other comments there? Love coming home. Yeah, nice. Nice, right. Right, so I believe that's everybody's comments, guys. Much love and thanks very much to all of you out there, guys, who've taken the time out of your day to tune into today's 420 news. I'll be back, guys, as I say, on Friday at 420 with more 420 news for your enjoyment. We'll try to have more positive news stories in there. If you've got any out there for me, guys, do send them my way, and we'll have them featured on the news as well. But until then, guys, stay blazed, keep her lit. Peace.